I've created even more item skins for Doors. With Halloween just around the corner, Doors is considering releasing an update themed around the event. In fact, they've even started that process by creating a brand new skin bundle featuring vampire and blood themed skins, some of which were actually teased prior to their release. Now, all this Halloween stuff got me thinking, I could capitalize on this. So I got to work, and in the end I created a bunch of Halloween themed item skin concepts for the game. Now, I've already shown some of these off in different areas, but I've also created some which nobody has ever seen before. In this video, I'll be showing you all of these item skin concepts, ranging from typical Halloween themed stuff to the return of monuments. Yeah, that's right, we are bringing entities into this. We have got a lot to discuss today, so with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so I want to show you probably my favorite concept that I've created so far first, and that is a monument-themed skin for the alarm clock. Now, I'm sure all of you know, or more likely despise, monuments, due to their unpredictable and terrifying nature in the outdoors. However, I find the idea of a living object to be very fascinating, so I thought, why not expand upon that? So I did just that. The Monument Alarm Clock is an item skin which attempts to depict a normal alarm clock that has been personified, just like the living obelisks found in the outdoors. Instead of having wooden legs like a normal alarm clock, this item skin features the meaty legs of a monument, and instead of a normal wind-up crank in the back, there is a monument tendril that is holding the crank. In fact, these tendrils can be found all over the skin, from the string attaching the two bells at the top of the clock to the hands which rotate at its center. However, most notably, the entire front of the clock is shattered, revealing the red fleshy interior of the monument's meat inside of the clock. Now, I will say, if this item skin was ever added to the game in any capacity, I think it'd be really cool if the skin was actually animated. So, periodically, the entire clock could split in half, revealing the fleshy interior before closing itself. The ability for normal monument entities to rip their own body in half is a really interesting detail, so I think it could be applied to this skin, which obviously is also themed around monuments. However, given how I can't animate for the life of me, I'm just going to tell you all of these big ideas without providing any visuals or context. Anyways, that's enough of talking about this one item skin. Let's move on to one that's a little more Halloween themed, and that is the Pumpkin Knock Bomb. Now, something you'll notice is that almost all of these item skins are for battle mode items. In fact, that monument alarm clock I just talked about was quite literally the only non-battle mode concept in this whole video. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get back to the Pumpkin Knock Bomb. As its name suggests, this item skin is just the knock bomb with a pumpkin aesthetic applied onto it. Instead of having a glowing circle at each of its poles, it instead has a glowing pumpkin face, not including the very top, which houses the pumpkin stem, and the very bottom, which has one of those glowing holes, which I kinda forgot to put a pumpkin face on, but I don't think it really needs one. The pumpkins that make up this skin are actually based on the pumpkin decorations you could have found all throughout the lobby in last year's Halloween event, so I guess this could be considered a neat callback to that. The knock bomb is one of the most common battle mode items you can come across, so having a skin for it just seems natural as it would be utilized often. Additionally, the knock bomb is perfect for a pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern themed skin, as it already contains glowing neon parts which could be repurposed into the face of a jack-o'-lantern, which I just did. And that's pretty cool, if I must admit. Moving on though, the next specifically Halloween themed skin I've created is the Candy Bomb. Themed around just the stereotypical design of a wrapped piece of candy, which is just a big ol' circle with two cones coming out of it, the Candy Bomb would be a skin for the Big Bomb item found in Ranked mode. It features the weird little cone things at the side, as well as a texture that resembles wrapping paper, which makes sense given how the whole theme of this thing is supposed to be it's a wrapped piece of candy. I also added a purple and red gradient to give the skin more life, or aesthetic, or whatever you want to call it. It just makes it look better, as just adding two cones to the side of this big bomb just seemed kind of bland on its own. I don't even know what those cones are called. Is that just wrapping paper extra that didn't fit on the circular part? I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying, but if you do know what those cone things are, please let me know. Lastly, instead of using the normal string fuse the Big Bomb has, the Candy Bomb replaces that with a red and purple lollipop, which sticks to the whole candy theme as well, as the colors seen throughout the item skin are shown on the lollipop. Other than that though, there really isn't anything else to say about this. It is pretty basic. Now, we have moved on to the last skin, or should I say skins. Yeah, this one's weird, so strap in. You see, as I was making concepts for this video, I came to a realization. I wanted to add an entity-themed item skin, besides Monument, that at least somewhat resembled the item it was going to be associated with. After searching through all the Doors entities and all the items in the game, I came across a perfect duo, one which couldn't be beaten: Halt and a banana. Think about it, Halt is a ghost, so that's the Halloween theme right there, but as a ghost they're also just a giant lump. The banana, specifically the banana peel, is also a giant lump, so why not merge the two of them together? So dear viewers, I now present you with the Halt banana. Now, as you may know, bananas have two variants, the one containing the banana flesh, and the other just the peel. If a banana skin was created, it'd have to account for both of the item's variants, so I've done just that. The normal Halt banana features a translucent blue banana with bright glowing eyes, mimicking the appearance of Halt. There's even a small light inside of the banana to make the details stand out more, and to make the model look more like that of the entity Halt. As for the banana peel though, that's really where you can see this idea coming to life. As I had stated, Halt is a big lump, and the banana peel also contains a big lump at its top, so combining the two is flawless. Just like the normal banana, the banana peel Halt skin is also translucent and blue in color. In fact, besides the lack of the edible banana part, the design of this is basically identical to that of the normal banana Halt skin, which makes sense as they are both technically just the same item, just with somewhat different visuals and completely different functionalities. So, with all of that being said, those were all of my more or less Halloween-themed skin concepts for Doors. First, we got the Monument Alarm Clock, which tries to replicate how Monument is a living statue, albeit this time they are a living clock. Then we have the Pumpkin Knock Bomb, which is just a revamp of the knock bomb to look like a jack-o'-lantern and to have an overall pumpkin theme. Following that, we have the Candy Bomb, which is a big bomb skin that turns the item into a giant piece of wrapped candy. The bomb's fuse is even replaced by a lollipop to further connect this thing to candy. Lastly though, we have the Halt banana, which is definitely Halloween themed as Halt is a ghost, and as its name suggests, this one turns the edible banana and banana peel you find in ranked mode into Halt by making their colors blue and by adding Halt's bright glowing eyes. I think out of all of these skins, the Monument Clock is my favorite, just because I find the concept to be really fascinating, but I also like the Pumpkin Knock Bomb and the Candy Bomb as well. Anyways, with all of that being said, let me know in the comments what you think of all these item skins, as well as if you have any ideas of your own for what Halloween item skins could be added to Doors, as I think the developer said they are adding a bunch more this Halloween season. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.